we have gone live on the channel. So say hello, Graham. Take care.
Good day. Good day. Well, I'm here at Bragi's, and of course we've been here during Yule. Njal, as the Vikings called it.
Yes. So how do you say good Yule in Viking tongue?
Simply Njal. Although the Anglo-Saxons, as you know, they called it Gyuli or Gayol. But either way, it's the midwinter festival. And for the Anglo-Saxons, the Old English, it lasted for 2 whole months. It was one of the super months of the year, along with Lida, the mild season in midsummer. But, with Yule, what's now modern December and January, then it's a time, as you know, of feasting, eating, drinking, making merry, and seeing one's friends and relatives.
Oh, that's why I'm a Viking. A good guy, Rune.
Indeed. A good time for...
Cheers, but very carefully.
Quite right, too.
It's very nice. I only have one watcher now. I'm going to bring the camera a bit closer. So just hang on with us. We are professional Vikings, don't worry. I say that term as a laugh, really.
But yes, of course, we ought to give you a piece of advice at this time of year, because, well, as you know, there are many tales about the undead, the Draugr, the walking dead.
Or the above walker.
Exactly so. Now, people say that they usually walk abroad during the hours of darkness. And one of the problems about this time of year is that the hours of darkness are at their longest. And so if you do encounter any of the Draugr, then we advise you just steer well clear of them. Stay at home around the hearth.
Yes, they're also called in the Norse tongue Aflerganger, which means, I think, above walker. So I think I learned that from Dr. Jackson Crawford. So if you're watching, hello, Dr. Jackson Crawford.
Oh, yes.
So if you want to learn about how to speak Viking, then I do recommend this channel because he's one of the #1 sources.
Oh, he's a fine scholar.
Good. We've got a comment here. Hello, brothers. You both looking very well. I have... Oh, the message is gone. Hang on. Top chat, live chat. Here we go. Been a while since we've done this. I am Bragi, and that's Tyrkir. So head are good Yule, Ljot Bragi, and Tyrkir from Opperton. So hello, another long-time subscriber to the channel.
Excellent.
So what are you doing on this Boxing Day, the day after Christmas Day? But I don't think they call it Boxing Day in America and the rest of the world. It's just us. Do you know why it's called Boxing Day?
To be honest, Bragi, I have no idea.
No, put you on the spot. Take it on the spot.
Well, of course, the thing to remember is that in the pagan period, the midwinter feast was also the points at which the old year ended and the new one began. So that what's now Christmas Day was in fact New Year's Day. The night before was Mother's Night.
Yes, Mother's Night.
Yes.
Yes, that's the 21st, I think, wasn't it? Yes.
And one thing that was said even in Roman times was that part of the festival held by the northern pagan tribes involved dressing up in the costumes of animals or even birds and various other folk characters such as the Yule goats, the Yule horse,
yes,
the bear, the straw bear, a very strange figure, and others besides. Also a good time for wassailing.
Oh, yes.
Gathering together in groups and travelling around the village, giving a loud wassail and being rewarded with food and drink.
So today is a day in which you stack your boxes in a nice way to make Tyson, or Mike Tyson will chase you. I've got another watcher. Just bear in mind a minute because I'm going to do something.
Very good, Bragi.
Right, carry on, take care.
And it's also a time during Yule when we like to remember our ancestors and also our friends who may have fallen in battle. And, we'd like to remember people such as Calf, Thorolf, Bork, or Bjorn, the Earl of Wessex. Gone, but not forgotten. We think of them whenever we're telling tales here at Northworthy. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, long but not forgotten. I'll be with you in a minute.
I have to relearn the poem I did in honour of Calf many years ago now. His final battle was up in Jorvik, fighting against the Saxons.
Hi, sorry I'm late. That's from Kevin Wood. Hello there, Kevin. Nice to see you.
Greetings.
So, yes, greetings indeed. And don't forget to like the video and, above all, share it with your friends so we can get a bigger audience.
Oh, yes.
It's not every day on Boxing Day you get to watch two very awesome, cool Vikings on YouTube. Let's face it, folks. I mean, you could be watching the BBC. Say no more. So, yes. So what does wassailing mean?
Wassail simply means good health. And the process of wassailing, when a group of people would walk around their village, local community, from house to house, and also around the boundaries of their land, well, it was done for good luck and to chase away evil spirits that might have taken root in the houses or the land or in the trees, all parts of the landscape. And so, drinking and giving a loud wassail was usually considered enough to drive them away.
Oh, yes.
And help to purify the land for the coming seasons.
Oh, yes, definitely a wise thing to do. Oh, yes, well, there's a video there in itself. Oh, yes. So if you have any questions you want to ask or take care whilst we're live on camera, then please feel free to ask in the comment section and I'll try to get to them. Like I said, it's been a while since we have live streamed, and now that Tyrkir is coming to do more regular filming as I'm now back on the road driving, we will be filming more and doing more live streams because it's quite important. So yes, it's been a long time since I was here. What did you eat for Christmas dinner? Well, we had, Graham was here, Tyrkir yesterday, we had roast beef, fried potatoes and buttered sweet corn. I didn't have turkey this year, I wanted to change.
A fine repast.
Oh, yes. And lots of beer and merriment was had. So it's nice to have company because normally it's like I'm on my own at Christmas. So
indeed.
Yes, I just walk around the house dressed as a Viking on my own.
Well, last year I was in... let me see, London Burr, and in the Jutish Kingdom of Kent. So it's nice to be here in Derby this Yuletide.
So, Eric OJ says, do you drink mead?
Oh, on a very regular basis. Indeed.
Oh, yes.
A friend in mead is a friend indeed.
Oh, yes.
I find it's very good for storytelling, helps to lubricate the throat. Yes.
Yeah, you can see that, yes, and honey's very good for sore throats and is a natural great medicine.
Oh, yes.
Because I've got 4 gallons of 46-year-old mead left. Yes, they'll all be coming out the door wanting some soon.
Very tasty, that.
Telling the world.
Yeah.
It's got older since you've last tried it, so it'll be even better.
Oh, splendid.
Oh, yes. And, you know, it kind of brings to mind the mead of the gods, doesn't it, really?
Oh, yes, well, indeed, especially the mead of inspiration. Yeah, made from the blood of Cavatia. Yes.
Yes, another wonderful Viking story. Yeah. What have you been eating? Let us know. Tyrkir, next time you're in London, we will have to go for a drink, says Eric.
Ah, absolutely. Yes. Splendid idea.
Look, hang on. Let's go here. See the last comment. Yes. It sounds delicious. Scowl. Oh, yes. Yes. And it's you know, one of those popular sayings you often see on TikTok when people are celebrating Viking culture. You see the old skull comment.
Oh, yes, indeed. I remember a party of Norwegians up in Jorvik who we were hosting once for a banquet. Splendid people. And whenever they made a toast, they all used the word skull each time.
Yeah, skull. Better than spam.
Yes. We did a great deal of it, of course, when the Kentingers from the Kingdom of Kent hosted myself and Njal and Ulf's cousin Orm.
Oh, yes.
They had a formal feast. And we ate very well indeed. And the main dish was beef bourguignon. Being visitors, we got the oxtail as well. That was very nice indeed. I'm sure you can imagine, Bragi.
Yes, oxtail. Yeah, I do like oxtail soup, but I like it on my chips. French fries to our American friends and fans.
Frankish fries.
Frankish fries, indeed. Oh, yes, a good reason to go raiding to France.
And being a formal feast, of course, there were many toasts being made, both to individuals and to the people within the Shire of Kent. And so this meant that every time you took a drink, and a very large capacity drinking horn was being passed around for this purpose. And naturally, we were drinking ourselves. And, after an hour or so, since it was his first Simbel, the very first formal feast that Orm, Ulf's cousin, had been to, he found that he'd drunk altogether too much and had a good deal of difficulty walking afterwards.
It says, Eric OJ says, what else have you guys done? Well, we have done quite a bit of filming over the weekend, last couple of days, because I always love the opportunity to film. Would you like to talk about what we filmed?
Well, let me see. I think we've filmed a couple more Scandinavian folk tales that we did yesterday.
Yes, definitely.
And today, two Derbyshire stories. Indeed, I've been meaning to tell for quite a while. And then some shorter pieces as well.
Yeah, some more historical pieces, because I wanted to take to talk more historical content, and I'm sure you guys and girls want that as well. And I'll be busy working the next few days, editing some more videos, so watch out for that. And we've got some more folk tales coming, and more Viking weapons chat. We're also going to look to do some combat this year, because you're quite keen on that, aren't you?
Oh, certainly.
And I know Njal is keen on combat, and I couldn't quite get Egil to do a lot of combat because he just wanted, to enjoy himself and relax. And you can't blame him for not being, his age. He's a bit older than us. So that's something we can do as well, because, we've got a lot of expertise, haven't we, between all of us?
Oh, indeed. 1,000 years worth.
Yes, maybe more. Yes.
Indeed, the last time I fought Njal was at Weststow.
Was it? Last year, and I've got some of that video to edit, but pity we didn't get all of it.
Yes, unfortunately, we ended up having certain differences of opinion.
And I didn't film the footage, that was Njal who filmed, so thank you to Njal.
Oh, absolutely, you did a fine job, yes. Mind you, there was a point of honour to be settled, and so we let the gods decide by having a trial by combat.
Oh, yes.
And I had a good sword fight. And I also particularly enjoyed using my axe. Yes.
And what shape would a trial of combat take in the Viking Age? What form would it take?
A common variety, of course, is the Holmganga, so-called island walking, when you're fighting in a small, carefully defined area. And according to some Icelandic laws, you can have up to 3 shields each. And all of those may be used during the course of a combat. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a very fascinating subject on its own, and perhaps we'll try to demonstrate that.
Well, the simple principle is the gods decide, or of course the one God of the Christians.
No, the White Christ. And how do you say that in Viking?
Oh, the Havita Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Havita Christ, the White Christ. Yeah.
Thank you. I've got some comments to look at, so just hang on. Right, we've got a comment here from Opper10. I ate lutefisk and pennekjot, which is a kind of dried and salted sheep rib made from an old Norwegian recipe. Oh, that sounds quite nice.
Ooh.
Oh, yes. Try not to fall over there. I've got another comment from Kevin Wood. It's a question. Do Vikings pants have bolt loops? How do they fasten?
Yes, they can do, certainly. There have been some excavated by the archaeologists that do indeed include belt loops. Yes.
Yes, well, my tip as a Viking reenactor, and I'll just show you. I got an inner bolt. If you can probably see it, I don't know if you can. Under my trousers, I've got to take all these layers off, so I'm quite warm. So you can see an inner bolt, which will also secure my trousers, because the last thing you want when you're in battle is your trousers to fall down. I've been there, done that. I don't want it to happen. So having an inner bolt as well to those trousers does help.
Yeah, well, you'd die a social death.
You would die a social death, and it would be me, wouldn't it? You know, oh, what are the chances of that? Unbelievable. So I get that from ITV. So yeah, and that's something we'll probably look at in the future and give a few tips about these sort of things. And I want to do another video, an update video on leg bindings, on how to wear them. You know, so lots of things we can do. But we always appreciate your suggestions as well, because we do want to drive the content from what you guys want as well to see, and the girls, that not forget them, the whole 9% of the ladies that watch the channel. You know, as Egil would say, woof woof, baby. It's his catchphrase.
I see.
So, anything else you want to talk about, Tyrkir? What do you got in your hand?
At the moment I have my beaker full of mead. Yeah, essential at this time of year. In fact, essential at any time of year, really.
Oh yes, definitely. Apart from when you got to drive a car.
Yes.
So I'm having a shandy. It's 0.5% alcohol.
This is why I walk everywhere, Bragi.
Indeed. Well, I did until very recently. You know, and walking's good for you. You know, I mean, it does make you think. Did they walk differently in the Viking age? I mean, some people have made videos on this on YouTube, but that's kind of say that people walk slightly differently than what we do.
Well, I rather lope along. I find that it tends to eat up the miles without undue effort. Yes.
I mean, it's something you take for granted, isn't it, Legs? Oh, that's very Father Ted there. Yes.
But I like sleep near and had twice as many legs.
You get twice as far with twice as many legs.
This is true.
Yes. Yeah. There's another fascinating creature from Loki. You know. I wonder why we got the concept of 8 legs though.
It's been suggested with Sleipnir, whose name means slipper or slider.
Yes.
It's very interesting because he can move between the 9 worlds of Norse cosmology. And he can even go to the land of the dead. Now, 8 legs, they're what you'll see on the bearers of a coffin or a dead body being borne by mourners. So it's suggested that's the origin of those 8 legs. Yeah.
No, that's interesting, Matt. Yes, but it does take fundamentally 4 people to carry a coffin. Have you ever carried a coffin?
Yes, indeed. Calf, one of our former comrades. Yes.
Yes, I did when my friend Smokey died. Not a very Viking name, because he wasn't a Viking. But yes. And he got buried in his Civil War uniform with some cans of beer, because he loved his beer. But yes.
I gave a eulogy for Calf, dressed in my Viking clothes.
Now, what are the 9 Viking worlds?
Oh, the 9 worlds? Well, the thing is, of course, people do like to be precise about this sort of thing. And you can say, of course, the first world, well, naturally, that's generally taken to be Asgard, the Aesir-Garth, the land of the Aesir, the preeminent tribe of gods. And the second one, below that, Vanaheim, Vanir home. The Vanir, another race of gods, represented famously by Njord and his children, Frey and Freya, the Lord and Lady. That's followed by Alfheim, Elf home, which logically has to be the 3rd world. And the ruler of that kingdom is in fact Frey himself. And Alfheim, Elfland, well, that realm is reckoned to exist alongside this one. Certainly in the Folktales of Scandinavia and elsewhere in Europe. The idea is it exists only a step away from this one, a bigger, brighter, more beautiful version of the world that we live in. So that's 3 worlds. Now, one might also include lands such as, well, perhaps Jotunheim, the land of the giants. Yeah, giant home. And that's said to exist on the fringes of our physical world, far across the Western Ocean. And, well, as for the 5th world, well, that comes in the middle of all 9. And so appropriately enough, it's called Middle-earth, Midgard or Midgard, the Middle-garth. And that's the realm of humans, and as we've already been saying, it can intersect with other magical realms as well. And there's also the world of ocean. It encircles the mortal realms. And there, of course, we have all the usual denizens of the seas and oceans, and supernatural forces, gods like Egil, the ocean giant of the Vikings, or Wader, the sea giants of Anglo-Saxon and Germanic tales, not forgetting the Midgard serpent, who lies upon the seabed, grasping his tail between his fangs. And, well, beyond that, we have other realms, such as the land of the dwarves, and that's Nidavellir, a dark home. The dwarves, of course, are noted as the finest craftsmen in all the 9 worlds. Indeed, they taught Voland, or Wayland, in his Anglo-Saxon guise, how to be the finest of mortal artisans. Then further still, there's Niflhel, Misty Hell, and Helheim, Hell-home, at its heart. And that's the world of the dead. And it's presided over by the daughter of Loki. And half her body is alive, half of it is rotting away. In her realm, it's dominated by streams of freezing poison that cowards, thieves, and murderers have to wade through every day while they're there. And in the icy river Slid, the sounds of blades clashing together can be heard. And the terrible dragon, the hateful hacker, Nidhogg, gnaws upon the corpses of those who have lived immoral lives, oath-breakers, traitors, and murderers. And also, of course, we mustn't forget Muspelheim, land of fire. It and Misty Hell were the oldest realms of all. And so there we have the 9 worlds, but, well, it shouldn't be forgotten that 9 is a very magical number. To the Norse, 3. That's a magical number by itself, but 3 times 3, 9 is especially so. And so because of that, we may perhaps bear in mind that 9 can also simply mean the worlds of magic. And there may be more, because, well, in works like the Prose Edda, it's said that there are other worlds of the gods higher than the first. But as to who lives there and what form they take, well, the sagas are silent, and so those secrets have been lost to time.
Oh, that's splendid. It's great being in such great company with such great knowledge. So, oh, that's a video there, Tyrkir.
Oh, very good, Bragi.
Oh, yes, I'm recording on my other camera. So, oh, yeah, I love it. Yeah, so I often think about Hull being half rotten, and it's the bottom half is rotten, isn't it? And the top half's not.
One half is alive, the other half is rotting away, whether it's one side or the other, or...
yeah, I'm not thought about being the side of the body, you know. You can just have seen it be half the body in the bottom half or the top half.
Yes.
But nevertheless, you don't want to meet the do you, really?
Not really.
No. No.
Much better to go to Asgard, warriors, of course, slain in battle will go to Valhalla, the Slain Hall. Although other people, perhaps who aren't warriors, but have nevertheless led good, honourable lives, may be entertained in one of the other halls, perhaps the Hall of Freya, Sesframnir, meaning rich in seats, sits there in Folkvang, the fields of the folk. And in Sesframnir, you can always be sure of somewhere to sit down. Mind you, if you're a farmer, you might end up in Bilskanir, the Lightning Hall of Thor. And it's said that, while the Hall of Valhalla is noted for its size, having 540 doors, that Thor's may be the largest hall of all, and has the most platforms, most raised areas for people to congregate upon, and for feasting. And, well, there are others as well, the fen halls of Frigga, the queen of the gods, located in the fens and marshes of Asgard. And in this way, you'll find that's the names of the domains of the gods and of their halls, given insight into the divine landscape of the home of the Aesir.
Yes, I mean, you can't really imagine the size of some of these halls, can you, really? And what would you equate to the modern equivalent to some of these halls?
Well, it's said that some of the halls of the gods will be large enough so that clouds will be able to form beneath the roof ridge. And, well, the Hall of Valhalla, the World Tree, the Great Ash, Yggdrasil, the Terrible One's horse, that stretched, of course, right through the 9 worlds. It had one route by the Well of Mimir, another one in the land of Helheim, where the dragon Nidhogg gnawed upon it, and the other one, well, the tip of its route was next to the Well of Weird, where the Norns, the 3 sisters, wove upon their loom in the land of the gods. Its branches towered over the roof of Valhalla itself. And as I'm sure you know, the roof of Valhalla, as many people call it, Slain Hall, well, the tiles are made of shields. The rafters are spears. Inside the hall, the benches are strewn with chain mail. And there, of course, the cook, he cooks the great boar, eaten, of course, by all of those present. And that's magically restored to life every evening in time for the next feast. There's a goat that feeds upon the foliage upon Yggdrasil, Hydrun, and from its teats it gives forth magical mead, and that's what the warriors in Slain Hall drink from.
Yes, fascinating. I try to think of kind of modern equivalents in kind of the urban legends. And there's this urban legend online called the Back Rooms. Have you heard of the Back Rooms?
I think I may have heard of one of those, Bragi.
I've seen one of these 2 videos where they must be generating it in these graphic generators, where you see these long rooms with escalators that go on forever and massive swimming pools. Fascinating subject. They say it's a real thing in the world, that you can get glitched into the back rooms, but it's just to me, I just got that image in my mind thinking about the great halls, but in a modern concept.
Oh yes, well, everything's on a larger scale, of course. Yes, absolutely.
Oh yes, and that's another very popular subject on YouTube, the back rooms, and good for the algorithm. So yes. Now we come to the part of the show where we're going to talk about a review of a film we recently watched last night. Last night we watched the Netflix film, The Troll. Now, what did you make? Start again. What did you make of that film? I really enjoyed it, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's set in the present day.
Yes.
And as one might expect, a lot of it is to do with very modern characters. But it's nice to see it does explore the idea of Norwegian trolls. And you can also tell, I think, that the troll you see depicted in the film is quite influenced by the ones in the outdoor troll display that they have over there. But well, always nice to see a troll on film.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've seen quite a few troll films when they go hunting for trolls, and some of them are quite good. But I thought this was quite a good film. I watched it to the end yesterday, so that's normally a sign for me that I enjoyed it, even though I was a bit tired. But yeah, and it's nice to see a giant troll like that. I mean, how would we deal with a troll if one came out of the hills of Norway? I mean, you know, it makes you think, doesn't it?
Pray to Thor.
Yes, well, you would do. Well, he'll sort it out in 1 second, wouldn't he? You know, bang with a hammer. Yes, and then just going back, talking about giants from Thor and the great halls again. I just got me thinking about the Thor story when Thialfi and Loki and Thor were going and found the giant's glove. Now, would the glove be bigger than some of the holes, or would the holes be bigger than the glove?
Well, to begin with, Thor and Thialfi mistake it for a huge hole. Because after all, it's a giant mitten that Skrymir leaves upon the ground.
Yes.
And it seems to have a smaller room just to one side. And that smaller room, of course, is the thumb of the mitten.
Yes, so that's a fascinating story. One day I must learn that and tell it on the channel. Yeah, I've got too many things to do. I wear too many hats. What are you wearing on your head?
This was given to me by Thorolf in years gone by, and good one for this time of year. A woolen hat, and helping to keep me warm this midwinter.
It's how you managed to keep it away from Njal, being it's made out of sheepskin.
Yes, with some difficulty I've been hiding it.
Wise man. Oh yes, the mighty Njal. No, you're the mighty Tyrkir. Egil was the eminent Egil Thorsson. I can't remember what Thomas Adele called me, and I forget now. Yeah. Oh dear. I've not long had a cold a few weeks back. It's that time of year for one. How would the Vikings deal with a cold? How did you get on with it?
Well, yes. Anyway, it's like the present day. Of course, if it's too bad, then, take to one's bed, have plenty to eat, stay warm.
That's wise advice. But of course, I also knew about plants and herbs.
Oh, yeah.
Know, what we call weeds, they call medicine. You know, so, yes. You know. Yes. And what am I wearing on my head?
Very fashionable hat, Bragi.
Yes, I made that some years. Oh, no, last year, I think. It used to be a pair of his trousers. See, Vikings like recycling. So, do you have any questions you want to ask us? Oh, we've got a comment then. Should have been turned off that. Oh, it's a special, it's a message from Tinder. Yeah, what we need is some Viking dating sites we could go on and never meet any women. And get ghosted. Yes. But was dating easier in the Viking age, do you think?
Well, of course. Depends if you were intending to marry someone in the period, then especially if you were a Viking man, you had to show that you were worth marrying, and you had to make sure you could give a bride price. And this might be in the form of coins, perhaps valuable jewellery, land or cattle.
Very good. Yes. And how do you get divorced in the Viking age and on the ages of Anglo-Saxons?
Yes.
There's lots of debate about this, ain't there?
Yeah. Well, it would be possible in the period, but generally speaking, married couples did tend to stay together for the most part.
So do you think it was more of a rare practice then, and not so common as the make out? Was it just a more modern thing?
Well, I think really because people are living in more isolated communities, people still have to live and work together in their mutual self-interest.
Life was easier and simpler in those days. You can appreciate it, can't you, really?
Mm.
If you had a time machine in front of you, would you go back to the Dark Ages? A one-way ticket?
I think it'd be a nice place to visit, but you probably wouldn't want to live there. Because after all, well, in any period of history, the more well-off you are, the easier life you will have. But most people in the first few millenniums of human history, then millennia, pardon me, well, they tend to work from sunrise to sunset, and it's very much subsistence living.
Yes, you can appreciate that, getting up at early in the morning when the sun is rising and go to bed at dawn. I mean, certainly from my perspective, generally most of my life being an night owl, and now I'm tending to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and my day starts. Some days it starts at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's me why, but I just got weird sleeping patterns. But
There'll come a point, certainly, at particular times of year when all the work that could be done had been, and then obviously people would take the opportunity to relax and then just enjoy themselves.
Yes,
especially when harvests have been done, for example, in the summer, and you could enjoy the longer hours of daylight.
And I suppose if you've got a lot of food in and you just cropped all your crops and got them in, you feel satisfied and safer, don't you? Because you got food security. It's a very important subject today as well, food security, because we do live in an age where we have food security issues. But enough said about that. But we can go down the rabbit hole. Pay for the thumbnail. We've got to try to remember that now. Yes, do you have any more questions to ask me or Tyrkir? I'm Bragi. If you don't know who we are and you're new to the channel, we are Viking storytellers, but we like Anglo-Saxons as well. I mean, what do you think the channel is about? What is your notion on this?
Well, promoting the history and the culture of the Dark Ages, and occasionally other periods of history as well.
Yes, we will venture into other periods of history at other points, but mainly we'll stick to the early medieval age. Something we love, especially the migration period. You love that, especially.
Oh, certainly, yes. The Viking Age is very interesting, but the period immediately before that, the so-called Age of Migrations of the Germanic peoples, in the wake of the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, when they spread across Europe. Well, that's the time, as a friend of ours from Wolf Head and us always used to say, it's the age the Vikings told legends about, and the Anglo-Saxons as well, for that matter. The time in which stories such as Beowulf, Volsunga Saga, and many others are set. The time of heroes fighting dragons, strange magic, and having memorable adventures. And the archaeology of the period, of course, features the most splendid weapons, armour, and personal adornment of the Dark Ages. An age of glittering gold and mighty heroes.
Indeed, yes. You sound like a channel advert. Well, it's true, though. But, especially for us, it's about having a database and a legacy of all these folk tales for the future. Because, it's important for Vikings to have a legacy, to be remembered, and this is what we're doing. And we're having fun doing it. Any folk tales or story you want to tell and learn, we're more than happy to have a go. So, yes. Cheers. I've run out of shandy. Because what is shandy for the people that don't know? I mean, some people may not know what shandy is. It's just a weakened beer.
Yes.
I like the taste of lemonade in it. Yes. Any more comments, questions? Oh, we will go. Silence. It reminds me of that poem I like. Go playfully amid noise and haste. Remember what peace there is in silence.
Yes.
Very true.
Absolutely. In fact, I can think of a story actually, on that very subject.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. Well, you're offering to tell it then for a minute. Yes, I've done spontaneous folktales telling in live streams.
Well, recently, of course, we were at Markeaton, and well, we were next to the site of an Anglo-Saxon water mill, and also told the tale of the kind of troll that inhabits the area around mills, the Cavan Canor or the mill growler. However, there are other beings that you may find in this kind of place, and one was the mill guardian, the waterfall guardian, the Fossa Grim, and this is a creature more akin to a water elf or a water spirit, and as with all of these kind of beings, it does help to stay on the good side of them. And to do this, then what you can do is to make a sacrifice. And this can be in the form of the young goat, the kid. And if you throw it into a waterfall flowing northwards on a Thursday, very important, then you may be rewarded. And this is quite well known. Yeah, especially in the land of the North Way, in Norway. However, there was one Norwegian, he wanted the help of the waterfall guardian because he wanted to learn to play the lyre. And it's well known that if you make a sacrifice to a Fossa Grim, they'll teach you the art of playing an instrument. Indeed, their own playing can often be heard, strings being plucked melodiously over the water of the falls. However, this particular man, well, he was rather miserly. He didn't like giving anything away of value, and he took the scrawniest runt he could find, the thinnest of goats, and he threw that into the waterfall as an offering. And, well, in due course, the Fossa Grim appeared, the waterfall guardian, who he didn't teach this man how to play. He didn't teach him anything, in fact, except silence. For he decided that was the greatest gift he could give him of all. And so he taught that miser a lesson. However, if he'd been just a little bit more forthcoming, then he would have been rewarded further. Because it's said that if you give a better offering, then you may be taught how to tune your instrument perfectly. And if you give a fine, healthy goat, then, well, your fingers won't leave the strings. In fact, the Fossa Grim will take control of your hands and keep you playing, well, until your fingers start to bleed, till they're red raw. Mind you, in time your fingers will heal, and then you'll be able to play so masterfully that as soon as you strike up a few notes, then the waterfall will freeze in time. The droplets and cascade will just hang motionless in the air. Trees will uproot themselves from the ground and dance to your tune. But of course, this man, he was far too miserly to do that. And so it just goes to show that if you're making a sacrifice, it may as well be a good one.
Too right. Yeah. It reminds me of the story about Rumpelstiltskin, because that's got a mill in it. It was the daughter of the miller, who is the main woman in the story, is the miller's daughter, of course. And it has to be a good one for you to learn. It's also a very popular story.
Indeed.
But I can't remember it off by heart at the moment. But I did like telling it when I told my version.
Another one for the future.
Yes. Well, so many to tell. That's the problem with thousands, tens of thousands. That's just European folk tales.
Well, as I was saying to Bragi earlier, last time at West Stowe this last summer, I learned far more stories than I actually had time for. Although there have been times there when Njal and I have done 3 hours or more worth of entertainment.
Oh, what joy. Yeah, so we have 7 people watching. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for liking the video as well, the live stream.
Thank you.
Yes, don't forget to share. So how are you finding your first experience live on camera then?
Oh, it seems to be going all right so far.
Yeah.
No one's died.
No one's died yet, no.
Yet.
It can be a bit tiring. I know Egil used to say he used to find the live stream tiring, but then he used to walk here and walk back. But yeah, so hope he's all right, the little chap.
Indeed.
He's probably watching The Godfather Mark II right now. You do know about his tradition every year.
Oh, yeah.
Is on Christmas Day he watches. He puts on his tuxedo. He gets some nice brandy on the go, a nice cigar, and he watches The Godfather Mark I on Christmas Day. And then on Boxing Day, the day when you unbox things, according to Eric in the comment section, he watches The Godfather Mark II. What's the chances of that?
His favourite saga.
Yes, of course. Tomorrow he's watching part 3. So, it's not a bad film. Apparently the book is very good.
Oh, I see.
Yes. I bought it in for his birthday last year, but he's already got it. Wait, twice now. Yes. What's your favourite film? Or can you choose one? Because that's a difficult subject, isn't it?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. I'd have to think about that, Bragi.
Of course, you've not seen the new Batman film yet, have you?
Not yet. I've heard good things.
Yes, a small little fact here is that Tyrkir, got that wrong, loves Batman or comics. He's knowledgeable on the subject. But, we're branching off there. Perhaps we'll leave that to a DC comic live stream, one-off event in the future. Yes, I did think about one day I would have got to do a 24-hour live stream, but my God, it would be knackered. You'd have no voice for a few days.
Indeed.
But it does wear your voice out. Yes. So we've gone now for 47 minutes. Do you have any questions for the both of us? Soon I will be going home and I'll be driving in the new war wagon.
Oh, yes.
Taking Tyrkir back home. It'd be awfully rude not to, wouldn't it? Stay there forever.
Yes, Bragi's new war wagon is very nice and splendid carving on the sides.
Yes, it's got leather seats and everything. Yes. Yeah. Marvellous. If only it floated.
It's got plenty of Norse power.
Yes, well, I was talking to Eric about this. We don't have horsepower. We got goat power. If you think about it, we wouldn't have horsepower as Vikings. We definitely have goat power.
Yeah,
well, about Thor?
Thor's wagon certainly does have.
Yeah. Did Thor choose horses? No. He chose goats. And what are the 2 names of the goats? I forget.
Gaptooth and Cracktooth.
There you go. Me.
Mind you,
Gaptooth.
in the case of Freya, hers is drawn by 2 great cats. I always think of lynxes, actually, the Scandinavian cats. Perhaps larger versions, as we were saying earlier. Everything is larger in the land of the gods.
Definitely. I mean, look at Fenrir.
Oh, yes.
And some of these giants. Yes, is a giant and the troll the same thing when you got a giant troll?
Well, I mean, of course, in Scandinavian tradition, it depends whereabouts in Scandinavia you are. And I think in the West Norse culture and countries like Norway and Iceland, they can mean any supernatural monster of large proportions. Could be one of the undead, the Draugr, who've swollen to a greater size. Could be a more conventional giant. Yeah, any kind of large apparition. On the other hand, in countries such as Sweden, well, in the east, their shape changes can take human form or may manifest as, well, perhaps a monstrous boar or a dragon.
Yeah, very human-like, I've heard. But it makes you think, do they are they Neanderthals, and that's where the echo of that come from? It does make you think, because people do report seeing Neanderthals today in the Americas and the outbacks of Australia. Hairy men, perhaps just wild men that just live in the woods too long. But it does make you think, where did that come from?
There are various folktales about hairy men. I think there's a Derbyshire one about the little red hairy man.
Yes. And of course, not far away in Nottingham, the next county, in the 1980s, a Bigfoot was seen jumping over a bridge. I would like to meet one of them on a dark night, would you?
Indeed.
But then again, is that another echo of the the troll being one of them?
Perhaps so.
Yeah. We'll never know.
And the thing about giants, of course, is in Anglo-Saxon they were called entas. An individual giant is called an ent, as opposed to the Viking word, which is very, very similar. Both mean the same thing, Jotun. And the Viking language, of course, influenced Old English when the Vikings settled here. So later on, we have the Anglo-Scandinavian word Eortun. As I said, very similar indeed. And so that's simply the word for giants. But as I'm sure you all know, in the world of J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, in works such as Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion and The Hobbit, then he used the word ents to describe his great tree spirits. But as I've been saying, it's more properly simply means giant in Anglo-Saxon context.
Yeah, fascinating, isn't it? I don't want to meet one. But imagine the size of the beer glasses.
Oh yes. Well, the drinking horn that Thor drank from in the hall of Utgard Loki turned out to be connected to the sea.
Wow.
Thor nearly drank the oceans dry. In fact, you can hear more about that in Njal's story of illusions. A very good account of the visit paid by Thor and Loki, and Thor's retainer Thialfi to one of the giant kings, and of the magic that was used to trick them.
Yes, I mean, thank the God he didn't drink the oceans dry, or Kevin Costner would have never appeared in Waterworld.
Indeed. Left his mark, though. It's why we have the tides nowadays.
Yes, indeed. Now, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day talking about the origin of Santa and saying how it's kind of connected with fly agaric mushrooms. If you think about it, the people that use fly agaric mushrooms have reindeer. Reindeer are very well known for eating them. Santa is often seen in a red and white outfit, although red kind of came in with Coca-Cola, I believe, in the 1920s. But I thought that was quite an interesting comparison, talking about how fly agaric brought about the influence of Santa Claus.
It has been suggested that this is the case. And certainly in terms of Lappish shamans, they'd often do this as part of their rites. But we can never quite be sure. It is, of course, part of the Christmas tradition that has become part and parcel of this time of year in later centuries, I think. But there are many elements that you find in the Midwinter Festival that do certainly have their roots in Anglo-Saxon and Viking culture. And apart from giving gifts and drinking a good deal, there's also the practice of illuminating your home with fires, with candles. We have the origin of the Yule log and the Yule candle. And these were regarded as magical. Because different times of year, what was left of them, if you had half a Yule candle left over, if there was a thunderstorm, certainly in Denmark, then you'd often light that candle for protection from the storm.
Oh, yes.
I gather there was a Viking king of Norway, maybe in the 10th century, who he laid down a law saying there was a minimum limit for drinking during midwinter. And he didn't care whether you were Christian or pagan, that you had to drink a certain amount at least. And Yeah, of course, this all formed part of the drink sacrifice that would be made during the Feast of Njal. You might dedicate a drink to the gods, to Odin, king of the gods, and then sacrifice it by drinking it yourself.
Ah. Any excuse. So
Oh,
it's
yes.
a good one. Oh, yes. Yes, I like the idea of that. A minimum amount of alcohol you're allowed to drink. You've got to drink. Yeah. You must have 10 pints a day minimum.
Very wise.
Yes. Well, that's a lot, though. 5 pints. Could you drink 5 pints a day?
Possibly.
Yeah. But it makes you think about, you know, I remember my mate Mickey Gasson, who used to work in the breweries in Burton-on-Trent, which is like the capital of beer in the UK. It's about 20 miles away from here, but maybe a bit less. And he used to work in there in the 80s, and they had what you call an open barrel of beer. So at any point you can just get a pint. And he says there've been old men in there who've been working there for donkey's years. That's a very long time in Midland talk. And, you know, he says they'll be having 10 pints, 20 pints in the day. But then when they finish work, they go down the pub for more beer. I mean, that's dedication, isn't it, really? But then again, if you're drinking a lot every day, you get used to it, don't you?
Oh, that's true.
You do build up a tolerance.
Actually, no bragging. Donkey's years. That was a bit of a mistranslation of the original saying.
Yes.
Because when people wanted to give the impression they'd been doing something for a long time, they compared it to donkey's ears, which are very long ears, of course. But after a while, people started to say donkey's ears instead.
Oh, yes.
But that's the origin of that phrase.
Oh, I do love phrases, and I know very recently it's been cold enough to freeze the balls of a brass monkey. But do you know where that comes from?
Go on, Bragi.
Well, in the old days of the Navy, back in the days when we had sailing ships, they had cannons and cannonballs.
Oh, yeah.
And they would stack the cannonballs on a brass plate. And when it got very cold, the cannonballs would expand and they'd all drop off and go everywhere. So that's where the term freezing the balls off a brass monkey. And that plate is called the brass monkey. So, yes. Yeah. And of course, there's various different sorts of cannonballs. So you don't want the ones with the timer and the little ball bearings inside. Quite lethal, you know. Back in the 19th century, very modern technology in a way, but very lethal. But yes, and I do love sayings like that. I mean, so, you know, we could do in the future because they're very short videos. And I often do think about where sayings come from.
Absolutely.
You know, what are our modern sayings of today? Makes you think, you know.
There are some that you think are more modern that have an older history. Pig in a poke, of course. Well, you don't know what's inside a sack. Yeah. And that goes back to Anglo-Saxon times.
Of course so. You know, like the word posse goes back to that time. They would think posse is an American thing when they go and hunt the bad guys, you know. You know, get on the horses, go and get your cowboy hat on. But no, it's an Anglo-Saxon thing. You know, makes you think.
Finland.
Oh yes, and probably older than that. You know, it's lots of things are very old, like laughter and humour. You know, all go back a long time in history. You know, all emotions are very old. You know, they don't just happen overnight, do they? They develop.
Absolutely.
So we've still got 5 people watching. So thank you for everybody who's watched this. We're just about done an hour. So how you feel to carry on a little bit longer, or do you want to start finishing soon? It's up to you. I'm here all night.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, let me just look at the comments. Oh, because I'm not adding. I'm making sure that we're not missed any. Yeah, so we have missed some comments here, but they're not been showing up.
Oh, okay.
So
let's have a look.
I'll go back. Just give me a minute. I'm off. Yeah, they're not showed up these comments, so let's just go back. We'll read your comments because one of the things we like to do on the channel is read your comments. And I said to Graham the other day, let's record some more of these comment videos where we, you know, you can sit down. I'll read them out. My legs can just about take it. So I'm sorry, you're seeing my bad finger. I mean, I wish YouTube would do something about this. So you don't see Bragi's finger, do you? All right, here we go. Work up then. So the home ganger, that's a comment from the Irish Rickardson. This is father is called Rickard. And Irish OJ say, did the Vikings or some other Northern Europeans ever watch gladiator fights like Romans did in the Colosseums, like how people today watch sports?
Well, the home ganger, the island walking, single combat, certainly that was a public affair and could be watched by as many people from your local community who cared to spectate. And because it was a legal contest where the pagan gods or the one god of the Christians decided the outcome, there had to be witnesses. So, yes, absolutely.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting. I keep sitting on my bag I'm carrying around my shoulder. Nice. Ignore my finger. Kevin Wood says, laughs out loud. And Offer 10 says that Kevin Wood, yes, I think so. And a comment here from Eric. I'm staying on the light ales as I'm up early for work tomorrow.
Yeah. Me too, Eric.
Yes, well, when I wake up, I'll send you a WhatsApp message to see how your day's going, my brother. We're all brothers and sisters on this family. And Offer 10 says, hello, friends from Trondheim.
Oh, splendid.
So, yeah. Oh, yes. And he also says, and Knifeheim. And Eric says he's working on a story.
Oh, all right.
I'm currently writing a story about a dwarf that taught man how to craft 5 things. A fantasy of how Vendels had such finery. I will recite it for the channel very soon.
All right.
Yes, and Offer 10 says, oh, Eric sounds very interesting. And Kevin Wood says, the Well of the Weird is the coolest name ever. As I'm trying to unstrangle myself with my cloak. And Eric says, hail Thorolf. I'm sure he is listening in. Oh, yes.
I'm sure he is.
Yes. Oh, yes. Much missed. Upper 10 says, I haven't seen it, but I'm a bit sceptical about Norwegian films. Sorry, it's bad with your finger, but he shows up. I say.
Well, it's a family-friendly thing, isn't it?
Yes. But he says, yes, I figured out the finger thing. I've been doing it too close to the camera. Stupid Bragi. Yes, he says, personally, I think the 1970s Viking films from Norway are best. Yes, this could be titled The Livestream, where Bragi Fingers invades. Is it the
Icelandic films as well, the so-called cod westerns? There are some good ones there.
There's a good Icelandic film I saw about this boat that sank, and one of the sailors managed to survive in the ocean and managed to get on land because he was a bigger man, and it's a true story. And he ended up being shipped to London, where they did loads of tests, and he got all these hard SAS troops and Royal Marines and powers all like trying to stay in cold freezing water, and they're all like chicking out after a few minutes. And this like Icelandic dude, yeah, man, no problem, minus 20, I can cope with that for an hour. True story. Can't remember the name of the film. Very good film. Yes. Is it the bird? Is it the plane? No, it's Bragi's finger invading the channel. That's not a comment, that's just me. Offer 10. If a woman wanted a divorce in the Viking age, she had to say it out loud 3 times with a witness, and the divorce was considered valid.
Yeah.
Yes. Although Egil also claims that you also have to put on your wife's clothes, and she puts on your clothes, which I'm sceptical about that. Because I've thought to myself, I'm going to get divorced, I can't be bothered to put my wife's clothes on.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll never get into my trousers. Never say that to a girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean, there were certain priestly cults in the earlier part of the Dark Ages where priests would actually wear female clothing. But that's a purely religious thing. And in fact, the rest of the time, Viking culture was rather intolerant about that kind of thing, to say the least. You might be pressed into a bog for it.
I just want to point out that I'm not a midget. I am actually normally 6 foot tall. Viking warriors, women, did they have them or not? that's a good subject for another video.
Yes, well, in legendary terms, certainly. And, well, here and there in terms of historical reality, there are one or two instances you can point to. They tend to be the exception rather than the rule. Certainly, if your home was attacked, then a Viking woman would pick up any weapon that was to hand.
Well, of course,
in the same way as any woman defending her home at any time in history.
Well, I think it's true what Egil says, that any woman defending her children is a mighty force.
Yes, that's certainly
yes.
True,
I had one. And Iric OJ says, life was hard, but I think now life is too easy. Humans have become spoiled. Yes, we have. You know. We got it too easy. We're about to get it a lot harder, probably. And Upper 10 says, Tyrkir. Oh, I agree. And he also says another comment following, Skal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we missed it, but didn't show up when we was doing the thing earlier, which was excellent. Kevin Wood says, was the lady of the lake a Fusset Grim?
Well, certainly stories of the Fosser Grim and beings like them, as in the story of Ljot Told, where a water spirit falls in love with a human and lures them to their doom, so they drown and are then fated to spend the rest of their time with the water spirit. There are plenty of examples of that. It's obviously a very ancient motif in mythic and folk storytelling.
Yeah, well, there's that Danish folk tale about the warning from the merman, when, a long time ago in there, and the days of our ancestors, there was an a man, he was, middle-aged, and he was going fishing one day with some of his, men. He had a nice little boat and went out, and he captured a merman, and the merman basically gave him a warning and said, never ever step foot on the sea again, for the day you do, the sea will drown you. Now, he took that to be quite a warning. I think, if you're out fishing and you capture a merman, I think I would listen to him. And so, he got back that very afternoon after the sea started to rise. The north wind was rising in the north and the waves were crashing. And he thought to himself, yes, I'm going to listen to this merman. And never again did he set foot on the sea in a boat. But he still owned boats. So many years came past. He grew a long white beard at that stage and a bald head. Reminds me of somebody. And, he had some of his family come over and they say, let's call him Eric. He said, Eric, can you borrow your long boat? You want to go out shipping, your long ship? It was a smaller boat. But he said, yeah, So he went out fishing and these men, his family relatives, and they had a good, successful day. And they came back and they had a porchway where they hang up all the cloaks, but they were soaking wet with the sea. And it formed a puddle. And that man was found the next day drowned in that puddle, for the sea had got to him. You should have listened to the merman. It's a lovely tale, that. You should tell that one. And also the one called The Merman's Sock, when he loses a sock or a glove, and the man gives it to him and he wishes him good luck. There's another very similar tale to that. So we've got a comment here, going back to your comments. We do love reading your comments. And this is from Thomas Dale. He's another brother of mine and a very good friend. And I love Thomas very much, like I love all you guys and girls. And he says in his comment, hello, I've just seen you guys live. So hello, Thomas. I will come and pick you up soon and we can have an afternoon round at mine, talking about war game figures. Kevin Wood says, how did Vikings tune string instruments? Did they have a pitch pipe?
Good question.
No, yes. I don't think they would have a pitch pipe. I think it would be naturally done by your ear to music. I think you naturally know when your strings are tuned in correct.
I think you have to have an ear for these things. One I don't possess, I'm afraid.
Yes, I do. So I think if you've got a natural talent for music, I think naturally, and that would be passed down generation to generation. Because, how many people could pick up a guitar and tune it without a tuner? Lots of people can. I can. So, you kind of know when that, when it's flat and it's too sharp. So, but it's a good idea and a good concept. Wooden pan pipes. Yeah, you could see that to a degree. But until they find it, though, in an actual grave or find, it's just speculation. Which we do love to a degree. Thomas Dale says, I think Rumpelstiltskin is meant to be about 5,000 years old from Iran, I think. Yes. Well, perhaps it travelled from Asia all across Europe. You know. Interesting point. And Opperten says, ha 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 ha, a good one there. And Thomas Dale says, Egil in a tuxedo, what a sight. Yes, we could get a picture of that. So Opperten says, where are the best places to visit in Derby? Well, Derby Museum.
Yep.
And the Museum of Making, which is a new, oldest museum, which they've done up recently. And some of the nice old pubs.
Yes,
we'd even meet up with you. Buy you a pint. Yeah. So Thomas Dale says Nottingham is the best place in Derby to visit. Come on, you Rams. Opperten says, nice, thanks. And Eirik Richardson says, Batman is the best detective. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, indeed.
Is he the best superhero?
Oh, well. That's entirely a matter of opinion. My favourite, anyway.
Yeah, I like it in the film when he meets the Flash. He says, I don't have superpowers, I'm just rich.
R.I.P. Kevin Conroy, who died recently.
Oh, right, well, there you go.
The best Batman voice.
Yes. Always sad to see these people go. Oh, yes, Thomas Dale says, but yes, Derby's are nice to have a day out in or a pub crawling. Yes. Thomas, we can go and have some burgers. This is like hanging out with your friends, isn't it? We've got a comment here from Robert V. Putman. And I've not seen you before on the comments. So a warm welcome to the channel. And you look like you may have a beard. So, oh yes, dig the beard. And he says, you could have Slipnir power.
Oh yeah, very good.
Oh yes. And Opperten says a troll cat. Yes. Do you want to stand up a little bit?
I'm just going to pay a very quick visit to the cesspit, if that's right with you, Bragi. I'll be back in a moment.
Yes. I'll carry on for a minute.
I did.
I'll hold the fort.
Jolly good.
You don't want to see that live on camera. And yes, so I hope you're having a nice Christmas as I wait for Tyrkir to get back. So what have you done? Have you done anything nice? Have you had your relatives over? Why do people always fall out on Christmas Day and argue? You know. Let's have a look at some more of your comments. I could do with a higher stool. And Offerton says Jotten, yes. And Thomas Dale says Woodrose. But I'm not for sure what you're referring to there. And my brain is tired. And Eirik says, hi Tom, and does the old rock and roll thing, makes you think how old that is. And of course, another thing I learned the other day is that in Arabic countries, if you point up, it means, Allah will provide. I didn't know that. So I love it when I learn something new. It was from a Tom Hanks film. Talking about Toms. So just bear with us. I could do with longer arms, but never mind. I got what I got given. What does Doffrey mean? I was thinking about this the other day because I was debating with Tyrkir whether it means mountain or hill. But if you could leave a comment on that, offer 10, if you know what Doffrey means in the translation, I would love to know. That's one of my favourite folk tales is the cat on the Doffrey fell. I think fell is like a valley. So I'm not brilliant on language. I didn't talk to her when I was 5 and I've not stopped since. So Thomas Dale says cheers, and Opperten says Scala, Thomas Dale. And look, in the background you can see my new langseax. Oh, my hips are going then. You know you're getting older when your hips go. There's a new langseax. I've got to show you this for a minute. A bit of nice bling for your focus. Look at that. This will be nice to test. So back to the comments. We'll just finish these comments up and then we'll get going then.
Very good, Bragi.
So just have a sit down. So we've got to go for your comments because it's being polite.
Oh, yeah.
So Thomas Dale says Gala off a 10, and Kevin Wood said entant. I did hear that right, entant.
Entas.
Yeah, entas.
They talk about the giants. Yeah, ent is the singular, entas is the plural.
Yeah, well, we could do a whiteboard, write that down and do a video.
Yes. Ent, E-N-T, entas, E-N-T-A-S.
Yes, but where did the ent wives go? Off a 10 says hail and scowl. Thomas says of Dale, he says that's curious about the donkey's ears. Yes, donkeys are very funny, but my dad got kicked by a donkey once on holiday. It broke his camera.
Oh dear.
Yes, he was very saddened about his camera.
So it was a badass.
It was a very badass. Thomas says, even with land artillery, the expansion rate of the iron cannonballs and the brass of the monkey frame were different. Yeah. Oh, interesting, says Offer 10. And Thomas Dale says, give you a midget, question mark. Well, if you've got a midget to give. It's like being petted by Bragi. And I'm on a small stool. It's made out of wood. Yeah. It's a bit like the interview we did with Gimli when I got Egil to be shorter. But I still got the interview of him being Mr. T. But I'm not edited for some reason. And he does not appear on the video because I thought it would be awfully bad if he appeared on the video trying to pretend to be Mr. T. So in that video, he's off camera and it's like Mr. T is contractually obliged not to appear on camera. And I wonder I may edit that video.
He's in a pod.
It's just one of the random things we film when we film. Because I've got a mad brain. There's actually a museum of computers in Derby now. Just found it earlier. How? Would you believe it? But computer says no. Near the market square. Oh, I have to check that out. Well, burger me. Burgers, says Thomas Dale. He loves his cheeseburgers, says Thomas Dale. Everybody knows about it. I'm a vengeance. I am the knight. Tyrkir can finish the next bit. Ha ha.
I am Batman. Yes.
I am Batman.
From the episode called I'm the Knight. Yes, one of the earlier episodes of the animated series.
No, I am Spartacus. Let's just have to get that in. And to come to the last of the comments now, we caught up. You'd be glad to hear because if there's a massive load more, you could be there for another hour. So woodrows were big hairy men. Oh yes, of the woods. A number have been seen in East Anglia. Yes. Well, at that point, we are going to gradually now wind down the live stream. As I move backwards. That's like magic. It's like those videos you see on TikTok where people jump in the air but you don't see their feet land on the ground, so all you can see is them flying around.
I see.
I don't know how to do it. If we could figure out how to do it, we'll do one with us like flying around the garden. You know? And the other day when I went shopping, I accidentally bought some Harry Potter pyjamas. I felt really embarrassed.
Harold the Potter.
I did not realise. I got to give them my dad.
Well.
Yes, so the most important thing you can do for us, guys, on the channel, Tyrkir, myself, Bragi, Egil, who's no longer with us at the moment because he's at home watching The Godfather, Mark 2. Njal, he likes his sheep. And of course, we have Eirik. So from us, we just want to say thank you very much to you guys. If you can share the video, and most of all, like the video. Likes are the #1 way of getting your content shared. Whilst I just finish up these comments you're leaving us. And then after that, we will gladly depart the Viking age and go back to the 21st century. Unfortunately, I'd prefer to stay here myself. But, you know, Tyrkir has to work. I got to look after my dad. I need a good night's sleep. But it has been a pleasure. So let's just go through these comments. Oh, that. So just go forward again. And I'll just read these comments. We are going to go in a minute. But so Thomas says, show off your Harry Potter pajamas on a live stream one day. No, that would not be authentic. But what house would you belong to? You know, Gryffindor? Slytherin? It don't seem that long ago they came out on TV. You know, I remember seeing them at the cinema like 20 years have gone past. But I do want to see his new movie. The guy who does parodies. What's his name? Brain's not working.
All right.
Weird Al Yankovic. I want to see that film. Anyway,
I think they should do a crossover with the Hammer film and franchise. Harry Potter meets the Witchfinder General. I always rather liked Flanders' version of Harry Potter on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
When he's doing story time for Rod and Todd.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Well, he's reading from it and gets to the end, and he reads out, and Harry Potter and all the other wizards were burnt at the stake for practicing witchcraft. The end. Yay! Yes.
Oh, yes. What is your favourite cartoon series?
Oh, we're getting back to Batman again.
I thought it would be. I mean, the amount of times I've been around Graham's house, Tyrkir's, I don't say my modern name on here, but watching cartoon series. Good days, eh? Anyway, just finishing up these comments. Offertender says, Eric Richardson, this live stream has been great fun. Thank you, brothers Bragi and brother Tyrkir and Veshal.
I say, oh!
And Offer10 says, it has been a pleasure to be a guest. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for being very supportive to the channel and for all your comments, Offer10. Thomas Dale, I love what I've seen. Thanks, guys. That's Thomas, that.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll be in touch, Thomas. I've got to ask you. Kevin Wood says, and thank you, Kevin, for your comments. See you later. And Thomas says, Weird Al. Iric OJ, what house would you belong to the Game of Thrones? The ones in the north, definitely. Starks. Is it Starks? Yes.
I'll take your word for that, Bragi.
Yes, but you know, winter is coming.
Yeah.
See you later, Vikings folk. Now I have to go force my drunken poo to the 7 seas.
All right.
Comment of the day. And the last comment goes to Kevin Wood, King of the Hill. As I hop back, as we say goodbye. So it's goodbye from me.
And farewell from me. Take care, the son of Thorkel.
Do any of you own a boat? No. Only model ships. Goodbye. Thank you.